Let's see what the cards say.
Yes.
So we're using...
Welcome, everyone.
Yes, welcome. We're using Heather Rowan Robbins' Star Codes Astro Oracle. I love this deck. I'd like giving her a shout out. The artwork's amazing, and the deck is super cool. So we're seeing what we're going to talk about today, because we just kind of... We're just letting the stars choose. All right. What's our topic? Do you have any hopes? Ooh, two of them came out. Two of them.
Okay.
Two of them jumped out. We got interesting. Oh, is this interesting? Okay. First, we got third house.
Third house. All right. Okay.
Communication.
Yeah, cool.
And then ninth house.
Oh.
So we got the third and the ninth axis opposite each other. Interesting.
Very communication, traveling, learning,
exploration,
exploring. Cool. Okay.
All right. Do you have planets in the third or the ninth natally?
No, I actually don't. Those houses for me are very, very small.
You do
I'm
have
born
the
very
small... Yeah.
I'm born very far up north, and with the Campanus house system, that makes my first house and my seventh house huge. So, and a lot of my houses are then very, very small. So my third house, I got Jupiter just at the end of my third house.
I'm opening your chart right now. I'm like,
yes. So yeah, I do have Jupiter at the very end of my third house, but ninth house, I've got nothing.
Well, and that's the thing. So it's not that you have nothing. And I think this is where people get a little confused about the house systems and stuff. So the Campanus house system divides up the houses based on like spatial awareness and the space around our globe. And the Placidus house system breaks it up by time, like the construct of time that we've created. So they're similar, and the Campanus just takes into account a couple other things that get a little bit deeper, a little bit more nuanced in the chart. It gives you a little bit more information. Similar to the other types of astrology, Vedic astrology and numerology and human design, these all just give you different layers and different interpretations. And it's nobody's right or wrong. It's very much an art, right? There's this artistic flow in interpretation.
It's almost like different accents or different dialects of the same language.
Great description. I love that. My brain's like, yes, well done.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a really good way to describe that. So yeah, with the Campanus house system that divides it up on space versus time, your first and seventh houses are just enormous. So it starts at Capricorn, 20 degrees, your first house, and goes all the way over to, 15 degrees Taurus.
Yeah.
So your first house,
I go through a lot of signs in my first house. Yeah.
Your first house includes Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and Taurus flavors, which, I mean, think about the way you could interpret that of the way you show up, the I am, the self.
Yeah.
And these different phases you get to grow through in life. It's really...
And I really feel like all of those things, because the first house is so much like yourself and like very much like my own little bubble, my own little world. And I feel all of those things. Like Capricorn is my ascendant. So the first house starts in Capricorn and then goes Aquarius. And yes, I really identify with being very Aquarian as well. And then Pisces and my North Node there. And then, Aries with my Mars there intercepted, which is another thing that's a harder energy to access when a planet is in a house or in a sign that's intercepted.
Yeah, the concept of intercepted signs within a house is like, it's not easy to access that information, that energy. It wasn't something that maybe was demonstrated to you as a child, and you have to work on that energy. You have to work on kind of growing into that, maturing into that. And the beauty of astrology is it's always this like growth and cyclical cycle of change and development into the various vibrations of the various signs
Mm.
and planets and whatnot. So you have a huge first house and a huge seventh house with this Campanus system we tend to use most often. And your third house is teeny, teeny, tiny, and Jupiter's just right
Mm.
there, but it's fully in Gemini. So just because you don't have a planet there doesn't mean that energy isn't there for you. It's Gemini energy for you. So your third
Mm.
house is very happy with this Gemini energy. It's very content with this Gemini energy because that's the ruling energy of the third house, which is all
Mm.
about communication. I was just
Yeah.
going to look and see what the
And
book says about
siblings
that.
as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Third house is siblings.
And you have one sibling.
Yes, and she has her moon in Gemini. So she's super Gemini.
And it would be
And
actually in your third house. And my moon is in Gemini in your third house
yeah.
as well.
And
So
I seem to be like attracting people with moon in Gemini. My partner is also a moon in Gemini.
that's amazing.
So I like to communicate with someone who has a lot of Gemini
Yeah.
in them. Also,
Yeah.
one of my best friends, she's a Gemini sun.
So you
There you go.
really have even so this is what I love about astrology and where you when you really take time to dive into a chart all the way. Your third house is seemingly this little tiny slice in this sign of Gemini with not much right there, right? Jupiter's just at the beginning, kind of tail end of the second house, but
Mm,
it's seemingly not a big important part of your chart, but look at the energy you attract. Third
yeah.
house energy with all of the people around you that you surround
Yeah.
yourself with, like close people that you surround
Yeah.
yourself with.
Yes, yes, because it's exactly that. Like the third house, uh, it's the people you like to mingle with. Like the third house is yeah, communicating, mingling around, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
And I like to do that with Gemini people, and I tend to yeah, and that those are the ones who do surround me. People who like to chat and talk about their emotions and like just be like jumping from one thing to the next.
absolutely. And Heather's book says that if your third house, if this was a map, the third house would represent your local neighborhood, primary school, the corner pub. It symbolizes how you learn, communicate, and move around your familiar world based on your sibling like relationships and the people in your local environment. So that
Mm,
makes so much sense that these are the people you hang out with, early Gemini energy people. And you're all of your close people are Gemini moons. It's so
Gemini.
entertaining.
Yeah. And
Third,
that's interesting because I am very Capricorn. I have my moon and rising in Capricorn, so I'm quite serious.
yeah,
But so I'm not that like open about my emotions. But I want all of these Gemini moon people around me that are just like blah, 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 has no filter that just talks about their emotions fluidly.
absolutely. And
Mm.
it's again such a great thing to explore someone's house is even if they don't have planets there. My third house has Leo. The whole house is Leo. There's
Mm. Ah,
now
I'm a Leo.
isn't that intriguing? Isn't
Do
that
you have more
intriguing?
Leos around? So
Um,
like Leo moon, Leo
my
rising.
my firstborn is Leo rising. Yeah, so him and I really do a lot of creative endeavors together, which is very Leo energy. We speak a lot and very intensely. And when I'm home in my, and in my world with my people, if you think about that third house area, neighborhoods and all that,
Mm.
I'm a very bold, brave, courageous speaker. I speak
Yeah,
out. I usually
you do.
speak quite loud and quite often, and usually it's quite intense. And a lot of people can misinterpret that as, and have frequently misinterpreted that as aggression. And it's really, I look at this third house Leo is just, it's just intense. It's not necessarily aggressive. When a lion roars, he's just loud.
But it's usually very entertaining as well.
I try to
Leo
be.
is super entertaining. Yeah, and then you think about your other placements, like you're an Aries sun,
Yeah.
you're Gemini moon rising, and then you have that Leo third house to
Yeah.
add in with that air and fire.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun person to
Right.
listen to. Yeah.
And it's where my fourth house starts as well. And I'm very the word keeps coming to mind, gregarious, which is just like show off and stuff. But at
Yeah.
home, I show off a lot in the kitchen. I frequently perform like musicals while I'm cooking, and I dance around all the time. Ask my children. I frequently will just crank music and grab somebody and start twirling them, and they're like, "Ugh, mom, can you stop?" Right? Very dramatic. But I'm
Yeah.
also being very dramatic the other way, right? I'm being
Yeah.
really over the top on stage, and that's how I am a
Mm.
lot at home. So it's fun with my children. I usually do have a lot of fun with them. So
Mm.
third house energy is such an interesting one. It says with the gift of this to really take note that we are all siblings in the eye of spirit, and really to let that sink in, that this is the area of life where we really look to for siblings. Even if we don't have any physical siblings in our
Yeah.
life, we can have besties that are very much sibling like, and we
Mm.
kind of create those sibling like circles and friendships. And your third house really is where you look to for the people you attract, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. And it would be so different depending on where your third house falls. Like if you have your third house completely in Scorpio,
Oh yeah.
you won't be like me attracting like Geminis who are just like blah 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 blah. Or you who attract people who are very maybe creative and like likes to go like be bold, but you will want to have people around you that are intense and who like to talk about the deep stuff and what matters in life and what's hurting and what's real and what's under the surface.
Yeah. And
That's if you have your
probably
third house in Scorpio.
not necessarily big groups of people. Probably
No,
like
like one on one, hiding in a corner,
small intimate
being at the corner
circles.
of the club.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, probably like have like secret clubs for sure, like joining like a secret society.
Oh,
Third house
totally.
Scorpio for sure. Yeah. So it's also different. Like you just have to understand the energy of the sign that your third house is in. Like, because yeah, it's all like, and then if you compare Scorpio energy to let's say like Libra energy, oh my God, it's so different. If you have your third house in Libra,
So different.
that's gonna be a super social person, super social, friendly, outgoing, like probably talking about like art and music and like what's beautiful and just like pretty much talking to everyone. Because
Yeah.
Libras are so friendly, I feel
And they really, really are
like the Libra energy.
so concerned with another person's opinion or point of view, and really wanting to take in that other person's perspective. I always see Libras who are
Mm-hmm.
just very easygoing when they're with a buddy, right? As long it doesn't matter who the buddy is
Yeah,
typically, but they feel better in general when there's a partner of some kind, a dog, a
yeah,
person,
yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. Should we go through them all just so everyone gets a little bit like a two, 3 words about whatever
Yeah.
sign they have?
So my Leo, we talked about my Leo in third house. We talked about your Gemini, just mentioned some Scorpio. Let's just jump around. What's next? Who else do we know in the third house?
Oh, jump around. Or here it's a typical like situation when you're so airy, you can jump around that much. And like
Okay.
I like the air people, but I'm so earthy, so I'm like, let's do it in order. Like that's the
Yeah.
only way my mind is like I can
You're
only
so
see it like
funny.
I would like to start with Aries
All
and
right,
go the whole lap around.
go for it. Start with Aries.
Okay.
That's fun.
Yes, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And if you have your third house in Aries, you will be very outspoken because Aries is that very like
Yeah.
you don't think so much before you talk. Like you just like hello, and you will be also like a very fun person to be around and look for social service and people that are instigating things. Like where's action?
Yes.
Where's where's the action happening? Who can I join? That's like you're probably going to be friends with people who like to do to be active together. You're going to mingle with people who and like do things together, like not
Yeah.
sit. You'll be active
It feels very
together.
much like energy like me with my Aries sun and then Gemini first house. It's that energetics of go and activity and
Yeah.
interest in subjects, right? Interest in learning about people. This is somebody who could easily start taking on a lot of various subjects and just drop them by the wayside, right? And then pick up a new one and then drop that, and pick up a new one and drop that. Aries is so curious, and the third house wants to learn, right? Wants to keep mingling and learning. So this person would really know a lot of people. A lot of people.
And also Aries, I feel like can go quite intensely to whatever they're learning. So I even feel like if you have Aries as your third house, you will be quite political, because you will be really passionate about whatever you're thinking about, what values you have. You'll be very loud about them.
You could get, I was going to say, get quite heated as well. This is someone who would probably enjoy a good heated debate.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the areas of life. The third house is so important to talk about, because this is where we got to notice the quality of our thinking too, right? What kinds of things are we thinking? What kinds of things need rewiring, right? Some updated thought patterns. So third house is where we can look at when we need to do some rewiring, and new thought processes need to be integrated. We can look to how do we do that, right? How do we really integrate those? So somebody with Aries would be, it's got to be fun. It's got to be, exciting. It's got to stimulate them. And when we talked about Scorpio before, that's not going to work for Scorpio third house. When they need to change the way they think, they really need to kind of be broody about it for a long time and really feel it, really feel the necessary change that's coming. And it's almost like a real deep, intense change of thought, where Aries is more like, let's burn this piece of wood instead of this piece of wood. It's like just changing the fuel source for Aries. You just literally shift. So maybe new podcasts or new audiobooks or new classes or so. Aries is great with that kind of stuff. But what about if Taurus is in the third house?
All right. So if you have your third house, if Taurus is in your third house, then you will be someone who you might be someone, or probably this is it. Like Taurus is slow, but super steady. So you will learn a little bit slow. Like it will take a little bit longer for you to learn things, to let them really sink in, because it's such a slow sign. But when it sinks in, when you've learned that knowledge, you will know it for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, with Taurus, third house, when you have that information will stick in your head forever, and you will like to mingle is almost like a too strong word,
socialize with people that are comfortable to you and that so branching out to new people for this sign is not necessarily the most comfortable.
No, it's a lot about safety.
Yes,
you want to feel safe.
Yeah, so this might be somebody who would be partnered with a more gregarious or out there person who will kind of like drag them along to a new event and be like, come on, get out of your house for a little bit. Let's go meet some people, right? You need a buddy like that. If you've got a Taurus third house, find yourself a crazy buddy like me, and we'll go out dancing.
Yeah. But what you probably like to do when you're mingling with people, or like the things that you like doing with people, might be things that stimulate your senses, like a wine tasting thing, or like
I was just gonna say wine and cheese.
Watching art. Like Taurus is also really arty. Venus belongs in Taurus, so you'll be very arty, and like
maybe an art museum.
Yeah, like sensual, and not in the way that sensual has to be something sexual, but just sensual in the way that it's all about your senses, about listening to nice tunes, and like looking at something that stimulates your eyes, and like smell. I feel like smell is super important too.
Yes.
Taurus. And taste.
Third house Taurus, what about when they need to make a change with their thought processes and they need to rewire?
Yeah, that's that will take some time. Everything takes time with Taurus. So third house in Taurus, things will take time. Like it might take time to have that talk that you need to have with someone. Like you really need to take If you
Plan
need to
it
have
out.
a conversation, yeah, plan out like I need 2 hours with you at this point because it might take some time to get those thoughts out.
Yes. Writing it down so that you don't
Mm,
get like flubbered over your own words, right? You can have your bullet points to stay on task. Taurus
yes,
really likes, if they're going to have confrontation, if they're going to have address things that need to be changed, I think having a map and having things
yes.
prepared will be very helpful for that
Oh
person.
yeah.
And again, like you said, giving yourself time to make the change. Don't be like, oh,
Mm,
tomorrow I'm starting a new routine. No,
no.
I'm going to plan for the month of June, and then in the month of August I will
Yeah.
implement it. And the month of July I'm going to clean out the cabinets or whatever it is, right? Like you give
Yeah.
yourself time to make the mental shifts that you need to make. And
Yeah.
wouldn't this be helpful to know if your child's third house is in Taurus?
Of course. And I was just going to say, like, this might sound negative, like things take time, because in our society, things cannot take time.
Right.
But Taurus energy is super lovely. It's super lovely. It's like when you take time, like Ferdinand the Bull, when you take time, you can sit down and you can smell the flowers. You can enjoy, and that's like what Taurus is about.
Yeah.
Enjoying something. All of the senses enjoying.
Absolutely. And that's how you
Mm,
learn best. That's how you communicate best, when you give yourself the time to do that. If
mm,
you're rushed, you won't, it won't come out. You'll
yeah,
stumble, you'll get all tripped up. So
yeah,
whenever people push these third house Taurus people to speak faster, do something faster, it jumbles them all up. Don't do that.
yeah. They're not meant to do that
No,
fast. No.
no. So we talked about Gemini with you, and then we've got Cancer third house.
Cancer.
Hmm. Cancer third house. This is going to be
Yes.
someone who's very in touch with the feelings of the words they hear and they say.
Hmm.
And words can be quite hurtful, both
Yeah.
from them and to them.
Yeah. And not even words. Like if you have your third house in Cancer, you will sit next to a person or be close to someone, and they don't even have to tell you something. You'll pick up the vibe. You'll be like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
they're sending me this vibe. This is a little bit uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
because you are so like the moon belongs in Cancer. So you are very with the currents of the moon, and you're very like moody, but you're also very your intuition is really enhanced.
So this is, I just looked at my kids' charts. I was like, I know somebody. Yes,
Yeah.
my daughter Gertie, who's 12, her whole
Mm.
third house is in Cancer, and she's a Scorpio moon or Scorpio sun, and then her moon's in the 12th house. So she's a really intuitive person
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
this Scorpio sun already in touch with everybody's undercurrent and feelings. And then her moon in the 12th, she already feels everyone's feelings. And now the third house, Cancer, is like amplifies that even more.
Hmm.
And she's especially tuned in with her mother,
Mm.
which is me.
Yeah. Yep.
So if I'm not feeling all right, or if I'm not communicating well, it affects her really,
Mm.
really intensely. And I'm thinking about like our relationship and like how this shows up for her. And yeah, very moody communicator. When she's in a great mood, it's great. It's
Mm.
lovely. She's happy and gregarious, and you get it. And when she's not in a good mood, there's a reason
Yeah.
the symbol of Cancer is the crab, and we call people
Yeah.
crabby.
Yeah. We have a saying in Swedish that is up with the sun and down, like up like the sun and down like a pancake. It just goes woof, like a roller coaster.
Yes, that
Cancer
fits.
energy is, yeah. So the way you're communicating, it will be super emotional based,
So I just noticed as well,
emotionally based.
my baby, who's now 14 months, is also has Cancer third house, and his Mars is right in the middle. And I
Oh.
have to say, Helena,
You've been saying that he's been
he's been a
screaming a lot.
beast lately. He has been
Yeah.
a just a beast, and
Yeah.
it feels like he's really stepping into his fight of Mars, which is what toddlers do, right? They step into their
Mm.
fight. Well, he's got Mercury as his first planet in his chart, first planet in the first house. So that's the way he shows up, is I'm here
Mhm.
to communicate. And
Yeah.
it's in stubborn Taurus. So he's here to communicate with that Aries intense first house in real stubborn way. Okay, cool. Well, that sextile almost exactly 10 degrees and 8 degrees to his Mars in Cancer in the third house. He's an intense communicator, and he is only 14 months old. And I'm already going, okay, this is fun.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. He's here to like really like drive the car of communication. And when he's not in a good mood, everybody knows it. Everybody. Shit. That's fun. I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I'm just like really thinking about this energy of the planet of fight and aggression in this moody, feeling, intuitive sign of Cancer in this area of life where we communicate.
Yeah.
So interesting.
And would you say, just for people listening, like thinking about, you know, the difference between having where your Mercury is, because Mercury is also like how you communicate. The third house is a little bit more like the area in which this happens, right?
Yes.
So that's the difference.
Yeah. So the area in which he fights is through his communication. Like it's where he goes to the pub to communicate and fight, and he goes to the thing and fight, meaning, you know, what his passion is. He can fight with passion, he can fight with whatever, but yeah, this is his drive, is to communicate all of his feelings. All of them.
All of them.
All of them. Shit. And he doesn't have the words, but sure shit is he trying, right? He is trying to give us the words, but good Lord. So Cancer, third house. It's fun stuff. I'm telling you, all you moms out there with kiddos there, I wish you the best. We talked about Leo. That's real intense and fun and playful. And what's next? Then Virgo.
So if your third house is placed in Virgo, you will probably want to surround yourself and mingle around in a very sort of structured way. Like your schedule might be quite organized. Like on Tuesday evenings, I always meet with my book club. Yes. Wednesday mornings, I always go to yoga and hang out with my yoga people, you know?
Yes.
Like very much Virgo is so, and Virgo also likes to take care of themselves, like quite healthy. So you might mingle and meet people and have friends who are interested in like health or whatever you think taking care of yourself is.
Yes.
It might not always be like yoga. It might be like you think taking care of yourself is something different, but taking care of yourself is all Virgo wants, and also others, but like being quite meticulous about in whatever way you take care of yourself.
This is also someone who's going to analyze the crap out of what they say before they say it. So, I mean, depending on where their Mercury placement is and what's in the third house, but in general, they're going to want to make sure that the communication has been analyzed. It's been through a filter. Like the people in these with this kind of chart and this kind of energy came here with this like need to make sure that it's clear, it's analytical, it's been you know, through the wash machine, through the dryer, it's been folded and it's put in the person's room, and this is how the system goes, and this is how we communicate. We think before we speak, and then we speak, and then we make sure it's okay, and like there's a process. There's a lot of processes with Virgo. So I see these people as very analytical about, like you said, who they communicate with, how they communicate, the things that they do. There's systems there.
Yeah, there's systems. And I'm thinking because the third house is also the area in which you live, the area around you, like your closest outside of your home. So I feel like when you people with a Virgo third house, when you move, you're going to be looking like, oh, okay, so it's placed there, but are there any like gyms in the area? Are there like
where's the nearest juice bar or the smoothie place?
Is there some... Yes, but like you will really be looking into the area around. Like, is the area gonna uplift my health?
Yes.
Is the surroundings gonna amplify my health and help me? Like, and me with a Gemini, like a Gemini third house, I just want to like see where's fun. Like, where can I meet people? Is there like just like a cute cafe I can hang out? Like, it doesn't have to be a cafe. It could just be something like a social spot. Are there social spots in my area?
Yeah.
It can
Where
be a
can I go?
park, you know,
Where can I go
whatever.
talk or read or learn
Yeah.
something? I want to
Yeah.
do.
Or do I have friends in the area? Do I have friends already living in this area?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
Did sort of Scorpio.
All right. So we did a little bit of third house Libra and chatted about that.
Yes.
How would third house Libra show up with needing to make shifts with their thought processes? I see that like needing a buddy system. They need a friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Libras are very much about the like I and the other.
Yeah.
It's always about like the count, like a counterpart.
Yes.
So you will need to like bounce ideas of someone else.
That makes sense. And have someone else for that accountability as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. And then we did Scorpio.
Definitely.
Scorpio, we already dove
Secret
into.
societies.
Yep. And then what's after that? We got Sag, third house.
Sagittarius. Yeah.
This
wow. That's a that's
this
fun.
is my daughter Guinevere. She has her Sag third house and half Sag, half Capricorn, and her moon is in Sagittarius in her third house. So she really loves to take little day trips. Like I took her the other day actually to go drop her brother off at his work. And then her and I just spent, we had all day if we wanted, but we planned about 4-ish hours to just do a little adventure. And we went to our local pool and we went swimming. And then we went and got some lunch. And then we went grocery shopping. And then we hung out. We went to a little shop to get some crystals. And it was just like a little adventure. And that lit her up. It just lit her up like the 4th of July fireworks. Like it was, she loved it. She just loved it.
Yeah.
So third house people want to explore.
Yeah, if you have Sagittarius in your third house, just what you're saying, like if you allow yourself to just explore, like you have a day and you have nothing decided and you're free to like adventure into whatever, but it might be like a store with only Thai food. Like, oh, how exciting! What are we gonna find here? But just like the exploration part.
Yes.
Letting yourself be surprised by things because they really want to be surprised and like, oh, I didn't know that. Now I know it. Now I learned something.
See,
because that is all about.
This is what she loved. So we
Yeah.
went to just our little town that's just 20 minutes north of us, and it's a little tourist town. And it was Sunday afternoon, and we don't normally like go play tourist, and we did, and we wandered in a lot of the shops. We found a really cool like old comic book shop, and we found a like a game. We went and had lunch at a game shop, and like there was just so many cool places. We wandered in and out and just played tourist. And she even said to me on the way home, she's like, I'm fine with whatever. I really just like to just go do stuff. Like
yeah,
we
exactly. Yes.
We could have done anything, and she was just happy to get out of the house, really.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun. Sag, I feel like Sag third house and Gemini third house really, that's that third house, ninth house access, and they feel comfortable in this area.
Yeah, they just want to be sort of like learning, like very interested by things. Very intrigued, like, oh, what's this over there? Ooh, let's go have a look.
Yeah, the third house is all about getting a fresh perspective, and Gemini and Sag really kind of embody that fresh perspective energy. Yeah. Then after that, we got Capricorn. And so Capricorn's got some stubbornness there. Bring in the stubborn a little bit and bring in the curiosity, though. There's like a stubborn curiosity where they'll do it in their own time. Another area where we have to be a little bit more mindful of the time it takes these people to process and to want to go out and, connect with people. And it's very slow.
I'm thinking, and it's all about like being effective when it comes to Capricorn. Like, okay, so like I'm gonna go and hang out with people. Oh, but what's happening at the same time as hanging out with them? Am I also making connections for work?
Business stuff? Can we do business deals too?
Can we also talk about business stuff, or like can we hang out at a place where I can also scope out the area for maybe like if we're going to a bar, can we go to a bar that has these new drinks because I want to learn about them because I'm thinking of starting a business in like making my own little brewery. So I would like to work at the same time as I'm mingling.
Yes, 100%. This is funny because I think this is also what we did with with Gwen when we went up, because we explored and we explored and we explored, but we also got exercise with our swimming. Like we swam laps together. So that was very practical. And then we got groceries at the end of our trip and we came home with food. And that was very practical.
Yeah.
So it was very like
Yes.
Sag and Capricorn day. And she really, that was
Mhm.
perfect. So that
Yeah.
Capricorn third house, they'll go out and mingle, but like you said, it's
It has
got
to make sense.
has to be practical. It's got to be some
Yeah.
practice. I'm not going to just go
Not just
drive.
on a whim.
No, no, we're
No.
going to plan this out. If we need groceries and we're going to go here, well, we might as well get groceries and
Yeah.
go here. It makes sense.
Or if it's on a whim, it might be like, okay, but good, because I need to be working on myself to be better at those things. Like then you'll be thinking like that, because it's all about, okay, I can do it on a whim, but I'm aware of that's me actually gaining something about myself. You know, like then those thoughts are always incorporated in some way, because it has to be productive or effective or make sense or be business related, or just like what else am I getting out of this mingling situation?
Yeah.
I'm not just having fun, am I? Because that would be a waste.
That's not practical.
No.
Oh, we love you, Capricorns. We really do.
Yes.
Aquarian third house is going to be so unpredictable with who they mingle with, how they communicate. It's so eclectic on an epic level, because you've got, again, the third house is ruled by Gemini energy, so it's air, and now we've got the air element of Aquarius. So this is a really interesting combo when you combine these two, when it comes to somebody's friendships and their siblings and their communications and the way they learn and mingle throughout life. It's very, very unique. And if it's one way for this decade, then the next decade will be a totally different way. And then they'll shift into a different way. So they change their communities up a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're going to be the one who wants to hang out at really random places. Like you're going to be finding those clubs where you knit at the same time as you're clubbing, or like you talk
Hold
about.
on. Is there a place like that? Because I would be there in a heartbeat. Is there a clubbing and knitting place?
Yeah.
Is there like in the background? And then I can go sit down and drink my like green smoothie and knit. And then I can go shake it. Like, is that a thing? If it's not,
it might be.
We should make it be. Does
Hit
anyone
her
know?
up, people. Hit her up.
Whoever, if anybody knows of a club like this, the crochet club, I just heard it.
Yeah, the crochet clubbing.
That would be
so but like
fun.
those things, those really odd things, or like you might find just really eclectic places and spaces where you're going to drag your people and be like, I know this really, really cool place hidden behind there in that area that no one really goes to, because you think that there's nothing there, but there's actually something there if you walk around and behind those bushes and in through the corner.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm just trying to think of all the craziness. What about an Aquarius third house that needs to shift the way they're thinking and make some changes? How do you see that happening for them? What's the way they would do that?
Aquarius energy is also so much about community. So I feel like in community, I feel like it's so much about the heart as well. So if you want to change like an Aquarian's mind, or if an Aquarian third house has changed their mind, I think it needs to go through the heart and like what's good for the people. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I can change. Is it good for the community? How is this good for the world?
I keep getting a fresh perspective. Basically, introduce these people to new groups of people who are already kind of on that theme of like changing the way something's done, right? Like, here, look at this community
on the forefront of change. Change.
Yeah, give them a new perspective with a new community. Yeah, and very, very true on the following your heart. Absolutely. And with these people, if you have somebody in your life with third house Aquarius, do not tell them they can't say something or not to say something, because they're gonna do exactly that.
That is fuel to their fire, you guys. That's fuel to their fire.
Don't ever tell an Aquarius third house or Aquarius Mercury, really just don't ever tell them you can't say that, or don't say that, or you have no right to say that, because that will just, it's just the on button for them to say that and more.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 Yep.
And then we have our Pisces. Pisces
Mm-hmm.
third house. This is an interesting one. My mama has
Yeah.
this placement. This is a
Oh.
bit of a challenge to deal with at times because of the confusion of what
Mm-hmm.
they say. I feel like they can talk themselves into their own confused circles. Like it's literally talking yourself into circles, especially when they're being fed information from one side and then information from another side, and it's too much
Mm-hmm.
information really can confuse third house
Mm-hmm.
Pisces people big time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like all energies, all signs have um all energies have a tougher side to them. Like if you get anything too much, like with Pisces, it's so much about the fog and the waters,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all about like the best thing to take out of Pisces energy is that you're super intuitive, you're super empathetic because you can feel everyone,
Yeah.
but you can get lost in those waters. And water has no, you can't draw a line in water, so you have no boundaries.
So this person is
So yeah,
someone who
that's a hard part.
can really absorb people's words and
Mm-hmm.
and and take them in and actually like absorb them into themselves. And so this person needs to be careful of who they're with, who they communicate with, and recognize when they did take stuff in and how to let it go. Learn the energy of how to let go and like wash that energy away, or wash
Yeah.
that those communication things that stuck with you,
Mm.
right? So it's very interesting with third house Pisces how intuitive they are. And yet, I don't feel like there's a confidence about the intuitiveness. There's
Mm.
almost like a hesitancy, again, because third house is ruled by Gemini, which is indecisive. And then
Mm.
Pisces is two fish swimming in different directions, leading to an indecisiveness. So we have like this double indecisiveness. So even though they
Yeah.
are, tuned in and very, maybe trusting of spirit and trusting of the messages, they may not feel confident speaking them out, unless of course there's placements in there that indicate
Mm.
otherwise. But this could
Or
be
if you've learned this energy, you might have had these issues and you've been actually grabbing them and seeing them and like, oh, this is actually hard for me. Why is it hard? And being curious about it and seeking out the answers to sort of deal with that.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
This person would need a lot of time away from people to really get into what it is they do want to say. It almost reminds me of Taurus energy too, where like having that plan and having things written down in a tangible thing so that you can see it, you can understand, oh,
Mm.
this is what we're talking about. So if someone tries to pull you off track with something emotionally triggering or shameful or whatever, you don't get sucked into that emotional realm. You can stay on
Mm.
task with your list or your
Yeah,
your
exactly. And
notes.
like, yeah, and that comes naturally for Taurus energy, but and for Pisces, you would need to use that. Like it doesn't come naturally for you, but that would really help you.
Yeah.
And I also feel like the people that like a lot of people with third house in Pisces might hang out in religious settings, like hang out at church
Yeah.
or a mosque, or like
Yes.
in a religious or spiritual setting. Also because yeah, Mercury, no, sorry, third house is the communication and the indecisiveness. So it could be quite nice for these people and easy for someone else to sort of lead. Like if
Yes.
there's a religion, usually you're following certain rules. Like this God says this, so I'm going to follow these rules. And that makes me feel safe because I know I can swim within these waters then.
Yeah.
I don't have to make it up my own. I can follow this leader. But also again, yeah, you need to find out, is that really your values? Are you there for your
Exactly.
values or just because you don't want to make your own decisions?
Yep. So how would Pisces energy go about shifting their viewpoints and getting a fresh perspective? How would they make that shift when they're already having this indecisive, right? If somebody has Pisces third house and they're recognizing, I really would like to do some personal development. I'd really like to improve my energetic flow and get to a higher vibration. What does that look like for them?
I think that would be like you were saying before with alone time. You would really need to center yourself. and sort of like um put boundaries around your bubble, and like listen to your own voice, like, okay, I'm here. Like put yourself in an echo chamber for a little bit, because you maybe like that might be bad for some people, but put yourself there because you need to listen, like, what are my values, what is it that I am about, what do I
Yes.
need, like, okay, these are my values, okay, so that means I need to change those things, but like really listening, like going inside, like deep meditation, you know.
Yeah, and journaling. I see a lot of journaling mainly because it can take a lot of that confusion out when you put it into paper. And third house really does enjoy writing. That's a
That would
big
be a perfect
big
mix, yeah.
component, right? Doesn't that feel very good for a Pisces third house is to
Very good.
really do a lot of journaling because it helps you explore what's circling and flowing inside of you. And then you can
Yeah.
see it tangibly and you can read it back to yourself and go, oh, that's how I feel it. That's how
Mm-hmm.
I think. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that'd be great. Third house is interesting.
Mm.
Interesting. So you have to make sure with this house too, this is very much a gossipy house as well. So making sure that you're mindful of the chatter that is coming out of your mouth, right? And that it's not gossipy and instead it's mindful communication. So that's one of the
Yes.
challenges of the third house is not to let it get not to let the gossip distract you and from clear communication and healthy effective communication. So I think that's a good
Mm-hmm.
message too,
Yeah,
because we're all siblings in the
we
eye of
are.
spirit.
Do you want to
Hmm.
read that whole thing again?
Yeah. So we'll read the book from Heather Rowan Robbins from this deck is. So if your chart were the village map, this third house would represent your local neighborhood, primary school, and corner pub. It symbolizes how you learn, communicate, and move around your familiar world based on your sibling like relationships and the people in your local environment. The action: check the lines of communication and your thinking process. First, repair any actual technical glitches like loose wires, computer, or phone problems. Then take this metaphor a step further and look at how your messages are sent and received. Make sure you understand what was intended in a letter or an email you received and ask other people what they heard you say in an
Mm.
exchange. When in doubt, ask for more information and repair any miscommunications. That's so important with third house,
Mm.
especially some of those placements we talked about, like Pisces, right, would be one of them. Scorpio could be another one. Making sure that people actually hear what you said and what you meant to say and that it was understood, right?
Mm.
Then take this metaphor in house and look within. Notice the quality of your thinking. Repair any glitches and stretch your mental muscles and improve the quality of your communications. You may need to learn new ways to express yourself so others hear your true intentions. Oh, I've learned that with Leo third house. I can't tell you how many times I have learned how to not put my foot in my mouth.
Mm.
I'm sure with Gemini third house as well. Like I'm sure you've said stuff and been like, "Whoops, that wasn't what I really wanted to say or how I wanted to say it." So some
Yeah.
placements definitely you need to pay attention to the way things come out and the way you're perceived.
Mm.
So think about how you learned to communicate when you're growing up through your relationships with siblings or sibling like friends or your early school experiences. This could be cousins too, right? Investigate how those early relationships formed mental habits that affect the present moment. You may need to get out of your head and get a fresh perspective. Observe and test your assumptions. Check for confirmation bias, the tendency to believe anything that supports your opinions and reject new information that challenges your worldview. And read a spiritual text or ponder the metaphysical concept and let it stretch your mind. Check
Mm.
in with siblings and sibling like friends. Look for any shadow of rivalry and see if you can switch it to mutual encouragement where everyone wins. It's up to you to reframe your communication dynamic. Oh, I like that.
Mm. Yeah.
feels good.
Mm,
Third house. So then
nice.
the opposite one that I pulled was the ninth house, and we'll do another recording on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much good stuff to just dive into and explore with all of the houses.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody has the house, fully in one sign. Like we said with your first house, you've got a whole bunch of signs in that one specific house. But when you have multiple energies, you get to experience the different flavors in that area, right? Like you said, you get to play around with these different parts of your personality. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool when you have that split like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's part of you is this and part of you is that. And that's the multidimensional aspects of astrology.
Yeah.
The little nuanced stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
For sure. And something exciting also, another subject, but something exciting happened last week.
Yes.
Yes. We dropped our Patreon page pretty much. Woo.
We started giving
So
more
proud of that.
information. Third house energy.
Yes.
We gave
Oh,
more
that's a
information.
lot of information. Yeah, we have a whole class split into it's a whole like seminar on Uranus split into 2 classes.
Yes.
And in total it's like an hour and a half. So it's a lot of information about Uranus. We go into the history of the when humans discovered Uranus. We go into mythology about Uranus. We go into the energy, the astrology, of course, like just everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's fun.
Such an interesting planet.
Very interesting.
Yes. Yes.
So we will be dropping info and classes. Helena will be teaching some stuff on her own. I'll be teaching some stuff on my own. We'll be putting all kinds of just deeper information than what we can do in the podcast. We'll be putting that into Patreon. So if you would like to just keep diving into astrology with us, we would love to have you join our Patreon membership.
Yes, and we have a link in the show notes. If you don't see the link, you can find us over at Patreon /Ram and Goat Astrology. Yes. And we have one kind of membership, and that's like an $8 membership, which is sort of like a fancy drink. So per month, it will cost you a fancy drink, which is totally worth what we're going to be putting out there. And we really hope you join, because in this way, you can also, while learning, you can like help us like give back to what we're doing and help us just keep going with
the energy exchanges
we're doing. Yeah.
We love to help to keep exploring and helping people understand this, and it's fun for us to do it, and it does cost some money. So we would love to be financially compensated for the cost of the podcast.
That would be lovely.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
So we appreciate you checking that out and sharing with your friends and coworkers that might find that interesting. So thanks for tuning in today, everybody, as we explore the third house and we let our Star Codes Astro Oracle choose our topic today. So you can check out Heather Rowan Robbins and get yourself a copy of this deck. It's phenomenal. I love it. Give her a shout out.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Ram and Goat Astrology. You can support the show by buying us a coffee or a tea. Link in the show notes. Your financial support means the world to us. Join us next time.